I'm Roland Johns. I am sim racing.
I'm Wes Fuller, driver the number 35, Stand Up to Cancer Forward. I am sim racing.
Hi, I'm Cameron Peterson. I am sim racing.
What's going on? It's Rob Biotti from 4i Racing, driver number 44 trailer to Canyon, and I am sim racing.
Hello, I am Christopher Hamilton, and I am sim racing.
Hi, I'm Eric Andrews. I am sim racing.
We are sim racing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Core Vintage Cup Series benefiting Stand Up to Cancer. Tonight's race is the Goodies 125 at Martinsville tonight, and let's go ahead and bring up the info for tonight's race. We got some playoff standings to talk about, a quick update to the rules. We had a kind of discussion in the background. The admins talked about it, and so we'll have to update you with that. This is race 3 of round 1. For the playoffs, we have one more round to go, so it's not over yet. Once again, Martinsville Speedway. We're going to be racing the full course. Nice temperature out today, 24 degrees Celsius. So probably like what? I think it's 80, 74 or 70 to 80 degrees.
Something like that, right?
Say that again?
Sorry, that was pesos. Never mind.
Those pesos. In the booth with me tonight, it's going to be Paul Owens. Paul, go ahead and say hi.
Hello. I think it's 1 for 12. I mean, 1 for 32 that's pesos.
Yeah, I think
pesos to USD.
I forgot what it was, but yeah, something about that. For tonight's race, our broadcasts are gonna For tonight's race, our sponsors are TechNet Professional Mission Car Care, Urbine Machine, Southern Heart Creations, and Joker Graphics. For our broadcast sponsors, Critical Advanced Lures and Southern California's Nautilus Media Systems. Everyone's going ahead and queuing up for qualifying. While qualifying is going on, let's talk about the playoffs. Paul, I don't think you were there for the conversation, so you'll be updated on this as well.
Carl told me earlier, I believe.
All right, so then you understand. For everyone out here, the playoffs, we actually don't have any drivers clinched. They were double-checking the rule book last night for the core race, and apparently there is no rule in there stipulating that if you win a playoff round that you're clinched in for the playoffs. So it's strictly down to points, which means everyone in the running has a chance to possibly drop out. We have Carl Handwerk right now in first, Nick Nickerson in second, Andrew Gunther in third, Willie Evernham is tied with him, Dylan McDonald is sitting in fifth, Kevin Foster sixth, Wes Fuller seventh, Matt Crockett eighth, Eric Andrews 9th, and Joshua Billiter 10th. Bennett Allen and Terry Connis, even though they are at the bottom rung, they are officially out because they have not participated in either of the playoff races, so they are not going to be able to make up points to get back in it. So right now on the bubble, it's Eric Andrews and Joshua Billiter. These guys need to get above the cut line, which is Matt Crockett. So Matt is the cutting point for tonight's race. Depending on how the race goes for all these drivers, they could be in it or out of it, or finding themselves really close to the cut line. Once this playoff round is done, this is race number 3 for the round 1. We'll be going to round 2. All the points reset back to 0 and start all over again. So we'll see how that goes for all the drivers and where they're going to be able to squeak in and, maybe push some of these guys around and get up to the front. With all that information being said, once again, thank you for tuning in tonight's race. I appreciate everyone out there. And we should be having a couple, let's see, looks like we are already 2 minutes in. Paul, I heard you're taking some laps around the track. You want to let us know how Martinsville is handling for you?
Yeah, I think I did somewhere between 10 and 20 laps, and it was very tight on in and through the center. And it kind of wore tires out. Not super fast because you don't really get up to speed, but it definitely wore them out.
Now, on the track, what times were you running out there?
I think I was in the, 20.909.
That's not too bad. Let's see what these guys are doing out on the track. Right now,
sevens and
qualifying.
all.
see if I can get qualifying to post. Give me 1 second.
Nickerson's on pole with a 5, and then it's Hamilton with a 7 for Willie, 7 for Foster, 8 for Carl, 9 for McDonald, 21 ones, 21 2, 21 4, 22 8.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now. I'm trying to get that to post up. A little bit of a glitch here. I forgot how to get around it. Let me see if I can get it to clear out. I know Dylan McDonald's out on the track. Let's jump camera sections real fast.
And by the way, for those of you who don't do the Celsius stuff, it is 76 Fahrenheit.
See, I knew it was close to 80 degrees.
Yeah.
I just know that like 30 degrees Celsius is roughly 90, or 32 degrees is like 90 degrees. And that's usually like...
I remember I went to the Keys a couple times, and they do Celsius and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And, oh my god, they were like... We were wearing shorts and stuff, and they were wearing like long sleeve t-shirts and all everything, because it was only like 75 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see if we can get this to work this time. No, it's still not posting it. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dylan McDonald burning off that last run.
I accidentally joined in the wrong way, so I can't view anyone during qualifying.
No, it's still not working. Interesting. He joined in as a racer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you down there. Well, Martinsville's going to be a fun track. It's out of all the short tracks, it's a pretty long track. It's got some good straightaways. It's kind of reminiscent of Darlington, if I remember correctly. Darlington's kind of a similar setup where it's got, you know, tight corners and a really long straight. So you actually have a chance to kind of get up to speed, and then you have to hit the brakes, apex, or diamond the corner properly, and then get back out onto the straight. So I think it'll be a lot of fun how these cars are going to handle. We're going to have to see how the tires wear off, and, you know, who's going to do what on the track. It looks like there are two sections on the track. You have the inside line, which looks like it's a concrete, and the outside looks like asphalt. So that is probably also going to affect tire wear and how these guys are able to drive around the corners.
Yeah, it's also going to help their maximum speed and how the car grips off exit and all.
Now, could you tell me the difference between how much grip you get from concrete to asphalt?
So I haven't really ran on concrete tracks that much other than this one, Dover and Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it all depends. They usually have a lot of banking with them. This one doesn't. It only has 11 degrees, which is still pretty good. But like most of the time, they usually grip better and let the car sink into the ground and keep the pace up than just regular asphalt.
Okay. So it gives, you know, the inside run the ability to keep up with the outside being asphalt. That way both are at kind of a similar standing and not giving the edge to one or the other.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, looks like Wes Fuller just finished his time. So right now we're looking at Nick Nickerson, Christopher Hamilton, Willie Evernham, and Kevin Foster taking the top 4 slots. Behind them, it's going to be Carl Handwerk, Dylan McDonald, Eric Andrews, and Dave Lord in 5 through 8. And then we have Wes Fuller in 9th, Matt Crockett 10th, 11th, Joshua Billiter. And it looks like we're just waiting on Andrew Gunther to finish his run. And we should
And
be...
some other guy.
Yeah. And Paul. Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
That looks like he's still finishing up right now. No, looks like he wants to start off in the back.
If you don't mind, I'll be back in about a minute or so.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
gotta go grab something real quick.
Do what you gotta do. Looks like the best, sorry, I'm messing with some of the settings right now. Best lap was a 20.575. That being Nick Nickerson out there. Let's see what else that shows.
Exactly 1 minute.
Boom. On point.
Make them promises, keep them.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight. We're still waiting on qualifying to finish up. Looks like we got roughly 3 minutes to go. With that being said, we're going to jump to a quick commercial from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back. Thank you for tuning in from the UK. It's good to have some viewers from across the pond. And glad to see we have some racers in the developmental series tuning in. Always good to see. So let's talk about some stuff that's going to go down in the future. So since we have some time, we're getting ready for the season to end. And
Handful of races left.
A handful of races left. Probably I think 6 or 5 races left on both Core, Premier, and Vintage. And something I worked out with all the leagues that I broadcast for is they all end right before January, the new year. That's because January 9th and 10th, we are looking at putting together a Racecraft TV Grand National race. That's going to be a invitation-only racing series where it's pretty much for bragging rights and for fun, and we're going to dish out some prizes, but it's mainly to do with broadcasting and the leagues that we broadcast for, so like discounts and stuff like that. But overall, it's going to put Core and a couple of the other leagues up against some of the other Racecraft TV broadcasters and their leagues, and see who comes out on top and who's got the better drivers and overall. So we'll have I think we're still in talks about if we're doing 1 or 2 days, but overall it should be 1 day, pretty much like 12 to 9 p.m. of just racing. So as four to I think it's like maybe not 12 to 9, but pretty much 4 to 6 hours of racing, maybe 8. We're gonna have 4 different disciplines. We're gonna have dirt oval, road, and then oval driving all in one. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be team racing. Still putting all the details together. We'll have an announcement for it by the end of this week if we're for sure gonna do it. We got to get confirmation from all the drivers. But please, ladies and gentlemen, tune in for that. That's gonna be a lot of fun to see everyone go head to head and see what these guys can do out in the track. Because I have a little bet with the other guy. I think Core is gonna pull away overall, just because Core's got a very diverse group of guys. But hey, there are some pro drivers in some of the other leagues. So the stakes are high.
All I know is if I'm home, I want a piece of that.
Exactly. And I did tell Carl that he could open up to the developmental leagues. I don't broadcast them, but they are part of
I'll just be DXR.
Yeah, there you go. We have to put in a stipulation for how many races drivers have to be in before they qualify, just because we don't want ringers. But at the same time, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nick.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, looks like everyone's gridded up. Let's go ahead and check them out. Nick Nickerson running in that number 85 Miller Genuine Draft. We have Christopher Hamilton in the number 64 Death by Moose Media. Will Abraham in that number 19 Bush. Kevin Foster in the TechNet Professional on Mission Car Care number 8. Ooh, Swinny Liazzo in the corner too. Like that. Carl Handwerk in the number 18 Core Racing Machine. We have Dylan McDonald in the number 38. Eric Andrews in his Rays Energy number 9. Dave Lohr in the number 17 Western Auto. Wes Fuller in the number 35 Stamp to Cancer. Matt Crockett in the number 10 Alpine Star and Liquid Death. Joshua Billiter in the Wooden Nickel number 3. And we have Andrew Gunther out there running in his, I believe that's Yeah, there we go. The Schnitzelwagen. I wanted to say Wetzel, but it's not. It's Schnitzels.
Schnitzelwagen.
Un Schnitzelwagen, yeah.
Schnitzelwagen.
All right, here we go.
All right, who's your pick to win, or are we gonna do that halfway through? What are you thinking?
I need to see how these guys drive. It's short track, anything can happen. So I'm gonna hold my bet till we hit that halfway point.
I'm gonna go with Willie. I think. I don't know. He's just good at short tracks.
Willie is good at short tracks, but someone that's been getting better that I've been keeping my eye on is Kevin Foster. He's been getting better and better at short tracks. So
yeah,
don't know. We'll have to find out.
Especially, we saw it last week. His conservation when he was holding up half the pack and conserving and just riding.
Just riding it out. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, pace car is off the track. Cue the music. Green flag up in the air. And the cue is on. Nick Nickerson, we are green, green, green tonight with 125 laps to go. Nick Nickerson with a great start. Oh, Willie Evernham hitting the brakes into that corner early. What is going to happen between these drivers as they finish lap 1?
Foster seems to slide back as Carl's dropping in behind him and maybe going to get Willie here too.
Yeah, it looks like Nick Nickerson has a dominating lead, a battle between both Carl Handwerk and Willie Evernham right now.
Oh.
Dave Lohr looking for a pass on the outside of Joshua Billiter.
Doesn't seem to make it happen. Bides back in line and waits his turn.
That's a tough one to make, or that's a tough one to secure, to be honest.
That's a tough one to make anywhere. And he secured it right there.
Yep. He's trying to. Josh has been getting better at these 87s. Every single race, dude, you see him creeping up there.
Yeah.
And same thing with Kevin Foster. That's why I said Kevin's kind of someone you want to keep an eye on. He's been working his way up those tracks, just inching his positions up. You know, Wes Fuller being, you know, someone that does or has driven short track before and knows how to take those corners. Oh, Joshua Billiter sends it in too deep into that corner. Goes sideways. Collides with the wall a little bit, but he is back out in the track clean. No major accident and no yellow flag.
He drove it nice and deep there, trying to get all he could, and just didn't work.
It happens, man.
Yeah. Back up front, it looks like Nick's just gonna pull away a little bit.
Yeah, Nick's got a dominating lead.
Of course.
But as we all know, Nick Nickerson, for the life of him, has a hard time saving tires. And that is something that's going to come into a huge play when it's 125 laps at a short track. Because there's no such thing as having, you know, long runs with tires, especially if you want to be fast. And that's going to be something we've seen before with short track driving, especially at Dover last week. People, you know, Josh Billiter making a call too soon to make a run. We knew that these guys, their tires lasted really well for about, Dave Lohr looks like he's got some steering issues there. Trying to make the corner. He's probably going to have to hit that pit early.
I think he was already in there. I'm not sure because he came out right in front of the leaders out of nowhere. So I don't know if he was there or...
That was probably, he just came out and was trying to pace it out.
Yeah.
But what I was saying before is, you know, Joshua Billiter jumped the gun. We knew those tires had 10 laps on them when they were fresh and ready to go. And then anything after that is pretty much you flip a coin to see if you can keep up. And he went to stay out with 30 laps to go on a fresh set of tires. And
he almost made it work.
It was too soon. He got
Just
to the last
10
15.
more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last 15 laps just really hurt him hard.
Looks like we may have a battle for third here. I don't know. I know Willie's a pretty good and conservative driver, so I don't think he'll make any stupid moves.
I think Willie hasn't really done his, you know, standard style of driving, which is he likes to drive the outside, and right now he's just tucking in behind Carl, and I think he's just going to pace him out. If Carl makes a mistake, capitalize on it, but don't, once
Force
again,
a move.
Yeah, don't force a move. You got 125 laps. Just hold pace, make sure you're able to pit in time, and that's really, you know, key factor between a lot of these drivers is, you know, it's you got to hold pace. You got to be out there. You have to stay relevant. You can't get a lap behind. That's probably the most important thing with short tracks.
Yep, we saw that a huge thing with McDonald last week, pulling the gun early and pitting too early.
Exactly, and that he had a really good run too. McDonald was racing in the top 5, and it bit him in the butt.
Big slide there from Willie.
Just letting it loose.
Burn the right rear, the car will stay loose. One of the D races, it was the Mazdas, and they were so tight at Langley, I think it was. So we just started throwing it into the corner on the right side as hard as we could, just to burn the right rear off. Like, I was going 90 degrees to the corner, just trying to burn it off.
No way.
And then once it was, I was running faster laps, 20 laps into the run than I was in lap 2. I was in the run. And it was also weird, if you knocked the right side of the car off, it was faster.
Wow.
So I'd go out there after every pit stop, burn the right rear off, and then put it in the fence.
Pit crew wasn't too happy about that. So far, pretty good pacing with Carl Handwerk and Willie Evernham. Dylan McDonald wanting to get up into the fight between these guys. Up in front, let's check in on Nick Nickerson. Nick's time's looking like he's about a second and a half or a little bit more than that slower right now. But everyone else, other than Dylan McDonald, is really gaining traction out there.
I wonder if they're all just riding around biding their time.
Possibly.
Because we saw this happen last week.
Yeah, but if we look at the times between Handwerk and Everham, they're already down to 2-second, splits, and McDonald is 0.3 faster.
Yeah, on that last one, he only had a 10th on him, but that's probably because he was so close.
Yeah, and
I noticed he's really wrapping the corner. That's probably a lot of wheel in the car, really burning up that right front.
Yeah, and even behind him, we got Foster doing the same thing. He's not as fast, but he's within the bubble of catching up if he used to put some more into it.
Right. Kevin's a very interesting driver though, because he can go 0.3 quicker than everyone and still be conserving. I never understood it.
I think it's just he's got more finesse behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very smooth plate track driver. And I think when it comes down to plate driving, you have to be really easy on the wheel. And look at that, Willie Evernham going to the inside of Carl Handwerk for a pass. Yes!
Will he make it work? Carl, I think, is going to let him have it here.
Down the line, and he clears him, but Carl could cross over and take the inside back from him.
He's not going to do it. McDonald gets a little loose behind him.
Willie's got that door open now.
Yeah, is Willie thinking... All right, they caught us. Time to go. 20 laps into the run.
I don't know, man. McDonald's also looking for that pass, and we see
outside.
Carl dropping to the inside. Willie's now driving that midline. He's leaving the door open, but I think he's going to close it if he sees someone go for it.
Yeah. He's running a perfect line where if you shove it in there, you're going to wreck yourself because you're going to get on the curbs. So that he's running the ideal line.
Exactly. Just halfway down into that low line and then halfway up in the midline. Just kind of ride it out.
Get that car pointed straight off. Oh, McDonald.
Oh.
Drives it in there too deep.
Now that's going to go ahead and open the door for for Kevin Foster to catch up to the group.
One back. Watch the. Oh, sorry, wrong thing. Something else.
Riding along with Kevin Foster right now as he has to let off on the gas on that one. McDonald back in, kind of sliding out on him. I think McDonald's putting a little too much pepper in there. He's trying to catch up to Carl on each run, and you can see on his exits, he's just a little too loose to keep it through.
He's driving it in so hard. He's using so much brake, so that way when he gets on the gas, it's just rotating the rear around.
And he's going for it, but then he just doesn't have the speed to carry through each time. He really throws it in there and then just kind of has to hit the brakes hard.
Yeah, he got to back up the entry and roll it and focus on the exit.
I think McDonald he's looking for that inside pass right now, so he keeps hitting the brakes really early and trying to roll it in. And Carl, you can see he's doing a late apex where he sends it in a little bit deeper, kind of probably rides out the brake softly and then cuts it in. And I think it's frustrating Kevin because he sees two different lines in front of him.
And he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, we're
I
riding
noticed
along
his
with it
front
right
end
now.
keeps lifting up and dropping down from him getting back on it and lifting.
Yeah, he's looking for that gap to open up where McDonald runs through Carl. McDonald's going to try and make a pass on Carl for sure. We can see it happening. But I think Kevin is waiting for McDonald to go for that pass and make a mistake. And it's just kind of, he's got to bide his time, but he doesn't know. He's got, oh, whoa. He's got to be right there. Yeah.
I was just about to say, I do not think McDonald is going to get past Carl.
Not with the way he's taking those corners. He's just going in too hard with the brake and burning off his tires.
Yeah, in probably anywhere from 5 to 10 laps, I think it's going to be shot.
Yeah, and right now with the way Kevin's been driving, yeah, he is tapping the brake and trying to stay behind McDonald, but stay, fast. I think he's keeping his distance, waiting for McDonald to kind of let loose. Oh, there we go. McDonald locking the brakes behind Carl Handwerk.
Yeah, just about to point that out. I noticed that a couple times. He gets it in way too deep and then locks it up.
And there we go into the corner again.
Driving it in way too deep. You gotta back it up perfectly.
Yeah, that's...
Either gotta pick earlier than Carl or later than Carl.
I would run later with Carl. And you can see Carl's tires are already pretty burnt. His back end stepping out on him on that corner. I feel like if you were to run behind him, you might, and you had a better set of tires, which I don't think McDonald does anymore. He could have dived in on him on the exit and raced him down and kind of dragged him down the straight.
Yeah.
But, hindsight's 20/20. I think Kevin Foster's setting himself up for that. So I think Kevin's taking his, leaving that spacing and kind of just trying to run his line without hitting those brakes too hard. And then what we're gonna see happen is either McDonald's gonna have to drag race out with Kevin, or McDonald's gonna make a mistake and Kevin's gonna move up to Carl and try and keep up with him and throw that at him.
Right. What I see happening is Carl's pulling away from him, and then he's slowly going to slip back to Kevin, and Kevin's going to get them both in 15 laps, say, if they don't pit.
Yeah. Looking at, and then we need to see what the pit time is going to look like for these guys, too.
That is also a big part.
Yeah, and we already have some lap drivers right now. Crockett, Lore, Billiter looks like he's having a hard time out there right now.
Gunther's going to be one soon. Carl's really trying to get the third lane coming.
He's trying to hold off McDonald and keep that third lane.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
He's just trying to save and hold him back at the same time. I just got to pick one sometimes.
It's tough to choose because you really have to judge those corners.
Right, and with how valuable pit times are, you can't really just let him go.
Exactly.
Because I would assume they're probably in the 40 seconds like last week in total, right?
Say that again?
I'm sure they're probably around the same time as they were last week, right?
Last week was 30
second
seconds?
marks?
I thought it was 30 seconds.
Somewhere in there.
Which is...
I know you lost
it's 1 to 2
laps.
Yeah. I think they were running 18-second laps. Or no, that was that was Sunday's race.
Yeah. They were running 20-second laps or something last week.
Yeah.
21 seconds. Similar to now.
Yeah, similar times.
And here, the pit lane is just so stretched and long. It's like the whole track.
Yeah.
So you may lose 3 laps here, honestly.
Possibly. Yeah, with the pit speed up, probably being about 35 miles an hour, that's really going to bite into your time.
Yeah, for sure.
And now we can see McDonald already kind of falling behind a tad bit. Looking at his last time, he is definitely a lot slower than Handwerk. And Foster is a lot faster than him. So we're going to see this kind of shuffle soon where either Foster's going to make a move on McDonald or McDonald still trying to strive and pass Carl. Once again, is probably going to have his tires burn out on him. We saw him get loose a couple times. I think he's backing off on it, but it's still one of those things where I feel like he still wants to run in there And Carl's been leaving that door open just a tad bit, and it's almost like baiting McDonald to kind of send it in.
Yeah, just making him force that issue.
Yeah.
Nick's really far ahead of everyone. I think he was exiting 3 and 4, or 1 and 2 there.
I'm gonna check in on him right now. Yeah, Nick. Oh my gosh.
He's almost lapping them.
Nick Nickerson going to lap the whole field. Uh-oh.
Where's he
back
at?
tire
Where's he
stepping
at?
out on him. He's
Where's he at right
entering
now?
in 1 and 2 right now.
They're entering 3 and 4.
And it looks like same thing with Hamilton. Hamilton also driving in behind him. The hashtag not an oval guy is running down the field behind Nick Nickerson. Joshua Billiter playing some defense. Good job, Josh. Don't let him get past you. Don't fight for that lap. Oh, he's gonna get him on the inside.
Shove it in.
Josh isn't going to let him pass like that. Look at him. He's already tucking him behind him, trying to keep up. But something to notice is, watching either the braking or acceleration off those corners, we saw Josh kind of either let off the brakes or just tap the throttle, and his body, pop up a little bit. Nick's body is, very smooth. It doesn't move. And that's one thing you kind of, that's where you get a lot of speed from, is not I guess over-exaggerated changes with the car's body and how it performs on the track.
Right, you gotta, when you plant the nose, you gotta do it as a slow action.
Yep.
With like the big and heavier cars, you gotta be easy off the gas, easy on the brakes, easy turning.
Yeah.
You gotta make it slow.
Yeah, any of that weight shifting on you is really going to upset the car, especially when your tires are really worn. These guys are on 43 laps right now on a short track. Their speeds are a little bit slower than I think we last would expect. I think these guys are running probably I think you guys got
2
up
seconds off the pace.
I think but speed-wise, I think you guys get up to like 100 miles an hour plus.
110 right now.
Yeah, and these cars can get close to 2. So with that being said, you're about a half speed the whole time. And look at that, Carl around Matt Crockett. Dylan McDonald looking to the inside. Matt's going to go and open the door for both Dylan and Kevin Foster to get around him.
I don't know how far he was. Yeah, I noticed Eric is slowly coming into this picture.
Yeah, look at his times, though. 22.670. Everyone else is 22.8, 22.9. Handwerker's still in the 22.6s.
Yeah.
He's found some speed, because he was riding the 22.8s for a little bit.
I think he was definitely just biding his time. Willie's at a 21-6 on that lap, but he was in the 5s.
Yeah.
Hamilton's in the 5s. Josh is in the 9s, pretty good. Nick's in the 5s. Ooh, he has 2 lap cars double wide in front of him. The Schnitzel wagon and Wes. Schnitzel.
Yeah, Eric Andrews is within visual of those guys in front of him. One thing I've always struggled with driving is you can see the cars in front of you, and you're probably, let's see, what is he? He's 2 seconds away, give or take, some change.
Yeah.
Those 2 seconds can close up so fast, and you get so excited when you come into those corners, you see them hit the brakes, and then they take away from you, and you want to keep up with them, but you can't. You have to strive for the driver in front of you, but at the same time, you have to race your own race.
Right. You can't focus too much on the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, that the green bar that's on the top of the screen when you're practicing and qualifying?
Yeah.
I turn that off. And I turn the box off that tells you how your sector times are and how your projected lap times are. Lap and everything. Because that makes you think too much about it.
It's useful if you're analyzing. Once you kind of get the track and you understand it, it's good. It's good. It's a good tool to see where you're making mistakes. And we can see right now Kevin looking for that pass on Dylan McDonald. And I think he's got it. He's on the inside of him, side by side, down into the back or into the front straight. Drag racing down into corner 1 and 2. Oh, can he beat him around the corner?
Yes, he can.
There we go. Kevin Foster waiting for that moment to pounce, gets up ahead of him, and now he's going to run down Carl Handwerk. I have a feeling he's going to go for it.
I think he's got it. McDonald, I think, just shot his tires up, man.
Oh, yeah. And we're talking about before. He just... Those prior 20 laps prior, he was coming into those corners and you saw him locking the brakes. You can't be doing that.
I don't know on these cars what it is, but I know on like the F1 cars and the F3 cars, if you lock a tire up, that's immediately 5%.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
5 to 10%. On the F1 cars, it's depending on what compound you're using, but it's anywhere from 5 to 10%. So I'm sure that
That's
may
insane.
be 1% or so on these. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Now it looks like Willie is slowly coming in the frame as well.
Yeah, I was seeing that. Willie's slowing down just a tad bit. I think he's probably getting ready to pit.
Yeah, jump the gun. I mean, on.
What? I feel like once these guys drop into the 23-second range, I think that's a good time to pit. Because you're talking about being 3 seconds off pace.
Yeah, it's so much to think about with these. Hold on, how much fuel do we got? You have 11 gallons in total to start the race.
How many were you chewing up a lap? Or I guess every 10 laps.
Well, I wasn't paying attention to that because I knew I wasn't going to race. But I could probably take a guess at it. I would probably say 0.1 to 0.2 a lap. Maybe 0.3. No.
So maybe a gallon a lap. So we could see them. That seems like a lot. So that they would be able to push 100 laps on a full tank. Close.
I think you could probably. I mean,
you wouldn't want to on
in
tires.
the Cup
You'd probably
cars,
blow it.
yeah, in the Cup cars, you could probably go 60, 70 laps. So, it would probably only go.
Oh,
These would probably only go 60 laps, I would think.
Kevin Foster
save.
making a little bit of a mistake on the exit of 4. Sends himself into the inside. Was able to save it.
Fixed Cup races, I think there are 80 or 90 laps, and you could go all the way on the full tank, which was 10 gallons, I think.
Okay.
But these probably chew up more fuel and have less of a tank.
That's true.
So I would think these could go anywhere from 65 to 70.
Yeah, we'll have to see what or how much fuel they have to take, and that's also going to pay into how long it's going to take for them to get in and out of those pits. But look at that, Kevin Foster reeling in Carl. Yeah, these guys are getting into the 23-second range. I feel like if you go any deeper to like the 24s or 25s, you're really burning a lot of time that you could really get back with a fresh set of tires.
Right. But do you want to be that first guy that pits, that first guy that shoots up his tires and everyone else just kind of can save it up? Because you're going to burn up that time getting those laps back in the tires, and by the time they pit,
wishing for a caution right now is, honestly, we would have had a caution in the first 30 laps if there was going to be an issue. Yeah. I think now it's really time to really nail down what lap you want to pit at, and can you achieve that?
All right. I'm weird. I calculate how much fuel I can use, but I usually don't pay attention to that until the spotter tells you you have 5 laps of fuel left. Then I start to think about it. For the one race, it was like 60 laps into the run, and I thought you would only be able to go like 40 laps, so I just kept driving, and it was like, you got 2 laps of fuel left. I'm like, oh my god, that happened fast.
Surprise.
Yeah.
You got to hit the pits.
Everyone else is just pitting. I'm like, I'm doing great, And
it's also a little bit of a gamble, too, because if you're the first guy to pit and everyone pits behind you, you're in a good spot.
Right.
But if you're... Go ahead.
Oh, Dave with big save. But if they don't pit, you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, you're behind the 8 ball, but if they make a mistake, you can get back up to the front. So it's this catch-22 of like... And we see it right now, Willie Evernham. He just came out of 3 and 4... Or came out of 4, and his tires slid for a good half a second. Like, he was not connected. Right. His back end stepped out on him.
The only person I think can comfortably pit is probably Nick. Because he would, at the lows, he's coming out 7th.
Right. Which isn't bad. He is trying to lap people, so he's got a little bit of a buffer.
Right. He's got, hold on, let me check here. He has 7 seconds to Hamilton, and then 13, 14, 19, and then 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So he's gonna come out 10 seconds, 1 lap down, so he would come out around 7th or 6th.
And I think if he pitted, everyone else would tuck in behind him.
Yeah.
Probably Kevin would stay out, knowing just the way Kevin drives.
Oh, well, here comes Kevin.
Kevin going for a pit.
Well, that aged well.
He usually drives it out the longest, but look at that. Both Willie Evernham, Carl Handwerk, we just saw their tires step out pretty heavily into the realm of I wouldn't say that's safe.
Yeah. But if I was one of these drivers on the playoff bubbles, I would try and extend this as far as I can and make sure everyone else pits and then just hope for a caution.
And Nick's doing the same thing. His tires are completely unhooked going around those corners. Let's jump over to him real fast so you guys can see this. You hear that? His tires are completely rubbed off.
He was sideways most of that straightaway.
I know.
I mean, I got my tire data here from the, what was it? How many laps did I do? I don't know. I did like 15, 20 laps or so. And my right rear is at 95 all the way through. Right front's at 96 all the way through. Left rear is at 96 all the way through. And left front is 98 all the way through.
All right, we got some data now. Foster, in and out, 2 laps down. Ouch.
Yikes. And
I want to pull up his pit time right now.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. Wrong button.
Did you kill into the
23
iRacing
seconds.
that by accident?
23-second pit. Or 23.4.
That's one lap.
That's not
since
bad.
how far he was behind Nick.
Yeah, and Fuller's taking the pit too. If you can leave within the time it takes for these guys to round 1 lap, I think that's okay.
I'm thinking, in my situation, if I was on the lower end of the playoffs,
Oh, wow.
I'm extending this run as far as I can.
Fuller grabbed 2. 12-second, 0.2 pit.
And he still went 2 down.
We're going to go ahead and change our scoring so you guys can see their pits when it pulls out right now.
But I don't know how Willie's points are, but if I was him, I'm dragging this run as far as he can. Oh, never mind. Just slid it real big. But I would try and extend this as far as he can, because if a caution comes out and everyone's a lap down, you're in a good situation.
True.
Take 4. You don't have to take as much gas. It all works out.
Another thing we have to be careful of and watch out for is, heading into the pits at about the halfway mark, which is what's coming up right now for a lot of these guys. Do you want to be a 1 stop and go, or are you going to be a 2 pit? Like, are you going to pit twice and go back out there? That's also a tough call for a lot of these drivers. If they can make 75 laps on a set, how much can a fresh set of tires gain you once you're back out on the track and the leads are still running? So, like, right now, let's Foster and Fuller are still the only ones to pit. If we go over to their times right now, what their last time was, Foster's running 21.8. So he's gaining
Nick's
2 seconds.
22.8.
Nick's still a 22.8. He's been like
Yeah.
that already. He's been like that for 30 laps.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I'm looking at his laps here. He went 22.8. Hold on. Lap 79 was his... Oh, wait, that's practice. My fault. Okay, race. 22.8. He's been in the 22 for 50-some laps. He's had 123.
Wow.
He's been in the 22.8s and around there since lap 46.
That's honestly really impressive.
Yeah, that last lap was 23.26. Here he comes to the pit road.
There we go.
I think he has enough people a lap down and such a big cushion. I do not think he will go more than 1 lap down.
Also is going to be on Foster. Can he catch up to everyone when they start to pit?
Carl's also in too, just ahead of Nick.
Yeah, we're going to see Kevin Foster pull out in front then.
Hamilton takes the lead here. I think here you could get away with a 2-tire strategy though.
If you're trying to pull off a 12.2 second pit or something like that. If we go up to their pit times right now, Fuller, 2-tire strategy. Dave with a 4-set. Ooh, 21.8 exit. That's pretty fast. Handwork, 22.6.
Oh, drops the jack and goes.
Yep, he's out.
Nick's gonna
Nickerson,
drop the jack here and go in 3, 2, 1. Boom.
21.8. Everyone hitting the pits right now and dancing about. So it's... Foster did have a little bit of a slower pit.
Nick didn't even lose a lap.
Wow.
I don't think. Hold on, it's got to cycle through. Carl did.
Yeah,
I do not believe.
No, no. Nick's
Nick
on the
just got
tail
it back
end.
because he just passed Hamilton, who pitted. Eric Andrews pit.
Wow.
Carl stuck a lap down, man. Oh man. McDonald hasn't pit yet, has he?
No.
Willie's in too. Here comes McDonald. Kevin's out there. Yeah, he may get both laps back here. Not too sure.
Possibly.
There's a lap back.
But he's got to play deep. Willie's going to throw up some defense. I wouldn't let him pass.
Yeah.
Oh, a bump and run. Willie going to the inside.
Oh, I just heard Dave lowering the wall hard.
Oh, that is not going to be good for some of the drivers that are hitting the pits right now if that's going to throw out a caution.
Doesn't look like it's going to, but I don't know what happened. All I know, I heard a big crunch and saw him.
Oh, look at this. Nick Nickerson having to fight his way around Willie Evernham. Willie's not going to give it to him. I wouldn't either. Especially this close in the race. 81 laps down. Nuh-uh. Make him work for it.
Nope, you gotta make him wreck you before you can let him take it. Oh, he's just gonna let him have it. No, Willie.
Come on, Willie.
Wow, and Kevin cycles is second after all this and has a big enough gap to where I think he can hold them to burn their tires.
Look at that. Yeah, Kevin finds himself
What a
in second.
move. Willie.
Wow.
Oh, I can't believe he let him by.
I'm surprised Hamilton... Well, has Hamilton taken a pit yet?
Yeah, he pitted.
Okay. I know he stayed out longer than Nick did, though.
Yeah. And he gained time on Nick, actually. He gained 1 second on Nick.
Wow.
All worth the 1 second.
So, for everyone out there, up in the top 4, Nick Nickerson, Kevin Foster, Hamilton, and Handwork, all able to work their way up there. Evernham dropping down into 5th. And everyone else is a lap behind.
Late race caution would be interesting.
That would scramble the field pretty heavily.
Cough, cough. You know, I am registered as a driver if you want to make anything interesting.
No. Look at that. Hamilton working his way up there.
Yep. And for all the viewers, that is just a joke. Calm down.
When did Hamilton sneak past Foster?
On the back straight, I think. Yeah, on the back straight.
Oh, I was watching, I thought I was on Handwork. I was actually on Foster. I watched him make the pass, and I was like, what? Okay, he's passing Handwork. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait,
yeah,
he got around Foster. How'd that happen?
Put a rocket on the back and just went to town.
It's just teleported and swapped with him real fast. Like, zoop. Man, Hamilton's got a great run tonight.
What's it called? He said that he's going to change it to, instead of road course ringer or whatever it is, to road or oval driver in development.
He's got some pep under his step tonight because he is going for it, man.
Carl's going to get lapped.
I think so.
Yeah.
We're right along with Nick Nickerson right now as he runs down Carl Handwork. I can't believe Nick is going to lap the whole field again.
Yeah. He's 21.7. He's a 10th quicker on that last one. I think it's gonna lap everyone.
Just looking, like, we're riding along with Nick Nickerson right now, and you can see how close, like, he's reeling in Carl very fast.
Yeah, he was, I think, another 10th quicker on that one. Like, look here, he was same speed as him that time, almost a 10th.
Yeah, like Paul Butler just said, Nick is a man on a mission. And I would definitely agree. He's trying to lap everyone out tonight and secure that top spot for himself. Since these guys aren't locked in anymore, it's no longer, you know, kind of like let's just ride it out and have a good race. It's I have to win.
Yep. Changed everything.
Look at the pebbles out on the track. You do not
So
want
much-
to drive up there. That's
Yeah.
so dangerous.
That's gonna be 2 or 3 laps of bad rubber too.
Yeah, and we can see some of those guys already kind of pushing their line up, and it looks like that. Honestly, those pebbles are dropping down to that midline, so it's that midline's even dangerous now. You can't really even take it. Oh, Nick Nickerson gets into it. Whoa, he's getting a little sideways there. Andrew Gunther able to catch up to him just a tad bit. But Andrew tries to run him down into the corner and overshoots as well.
Stuff is going everywhere.
Look at that battle right there. Carl Handwerk, Wes Fuller, Nick Nickerson, Andrew Gunther, all looking for position.
Nick's just trying to last. Please let me go by.
He's got to be careful though, because a lot of those guys he's pushing up to the outside are hitting those marbles, and then you know, they're going to be real loose on exit.
Yeah, comes up into you.
But I think Andrew Gunther's onto him right now. I think Andrew's trying to queue up on what he's doing out on the track and trying to get some laps back. He's 6 laps down, but he's not over yet.
And over to the checker flag waves.
Oh yeah.
T 30 to go here.
Both Handwerk and Foster trying to run like bats out of hell as Nick Nickerson reels them back in. Oh, look at that send into that corner. Wow.
Ooh. Kevin was 4/10 slower than them.
That's God. This is some of the fun part about like just short track driving in general is how the field just gets mixed up. And I'm one of those bad racers that even though I may be a lap behind or you're faster than me, I'll fight you tooth and nail for my position. Just
Yes, I
because,
learned that the hard way.
yeah, I don't like giving up position, and a lot of these guys right now are really fighting for the playoffs. So giving up position, you know, is the nice thing to do. But with
Let this thing catch up
25
to me
laps
one
to
day.
go, I'd start taking the gloves off.
Time to go.
I think so. I wouldn't give Nick a dominating lead like this right now with a lap on everyone.
How you remember? I remember how you were saying that you don't let anyone pass you for anything.
I don't.
That bit me one day. I let Mason catch up to me because I kept setting it into the corner under you, and I just couldn't get you off.
Yeah.
And he caught me and just went right on by me.
No, one of the Daytona prototypes, I put up a practice for that. I think it was a couple races ago, and I was racing. I wasn't fast enough to keep up with people, but I could. They'd catch me right before we hit where it would open up in Charlotte, the Roval, and you can take the back straight before you hit the chicane. I would take the inside lane with the chicane, and I would play chicken with them into the corner. So they would overshoot and shoot through the chicane and blow their time up, and I would deep brake and take the chicane and barely make it through, but I would make them mess up. I don't like giving up position.
DXR is at Virginia tomorrow, right?
It is, yeah. DXR will be at Virginia International
Wouldn't
Speedway.
have to get that.
Virginia is a good track, though.
Carl is just trying to hold Nick up real quick. Come on, Carl.
I would.
Drive.
Because think of it like this: if Nick gets around you, he's got a 21-second lead, or 22-second lead. That's a pit. That's half tires. Nick potentially could drop in, grab a half set of tires, and get out.
Try and get. Is there fastest lap bonus points?
I don't know. I think this is just straight wins.
Because if there was, he could drop in and just try and drop a heater.
Possibly, but I'm just saying if Nick's able to lap everyone before the finish, like before the last 10, 15 laps, he could potentially grab a half set and go out there and just stay away from everyone.
Yeah.
He could take a right side and just be like, see you guys.
Put the clutch in and just roll around.
Yeah. So it's really on Carl and Hamilton to not let him catch up.
Oh, I just got turned. Wow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, 19 laps to go. This is it. We are in the home stretch. No more pit stops unless you are a daring man. It is going to be who's going to make the rubber last the longest.
Goody.
Yeah. And
Sorry,
there we
I had
go.
to.
Nick Nickerson dropping off a tad bit off of Carl. Overdriving it, back end slipping out. Gunther looking to stay on pace with him. And let's take a look at Christopher Hamilton on the track. He's pretty much on the opposite side as of Nick Nickerson, so he's quite a bit behind him. We're looking at a 12-second gap, but I think Hamilton honestly is in the safest spot right now. He's not having to battle it out with anyone. He's got 12 seconds on Nick. I don't think Nick can reel him in by the time, you know, anything happens. I think Hamilton's in a safe spot if anyone decides to pit or if something happens on the track.
Yeah.
I think Nick right now is in the heat of it. He's got Carl in front of him. He's got Gunther putting pressure behind him. He wants to, you know, just try and lap everyone and stay up there, but at the same time, it's just kind of ride your own race and don't make a mistake.
Right. Also, there is a nice little battle going on here with McDonald and Andrews.
Let's go check that out.
I think it is for position, if I believe so correctly.
Yeah, it is. They're both a lap down.
West is just going to let him slide on by here. Now, Wesley won the other Martinsville race, correct?
I believe so. Yeah, he's just not on a roll tonight.
Yeah.
It happens though. That's part of racing. Sometimes you just don't got any
roll the
pep on
dice.
this up. Checking in with Kevin Foster. Looks like he's really dropped off. He might actually have a flat. I'm gonna jump over his. Yeah, he seems really slow around these corners. I'm trying to
Is
listen
there
to
like
his car.
a way to tell if they do?
You can hear a rumble.
Alright. And like a cockpit view, or
if you go to his cockpit or a roll bar, and I hear like a thud. I think Kevin's got a flat, and he's riding it out. And also look at his steering wheel; it's shaking pretty heavily. Yeah, we're gonna have to ask him after the race or before we pull everyone in. I want to know if he's got a flat because I'm pretty sure because he's dropping off pace pretty fast, and his wheel is shaking pretty hard.
Oh, I gotta listen to it here.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Oh, you hear it on exit.
Yeah, you hear that.
Yeah.
Just the tire rolling through, and it's tough because right now we're 10 laps to go. You can't pit. There's no exception for that. And so if Kevin has a flat, and we know Kevin, you know, pitted what 5 laps before everyone else.
Yeah.
Everyone else is within the range to get a flat.
with like 2 laps to go.
And with the battle between Carl Handwerk and Nick Nickerson right now, they might actually be the ones to get a flat and make a mistake. This might be a win for Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, it'll make things interesting.
Oh yeah.
Ow. Irish shouldn't have done that.
Gunther getting a little close to Nick Nickerson there. Good checkup on the brakes.
Just nice and smooth.
That's what you got to do.
Oh, Gunther was not nice and smooth. Now, we haven't seen any critical hits for anyone's playoff chances there, but Nick gets really loose.
I'm telling you, this is 5 laps to go. Someone's getting a flat. 100%. Someone other than Carl, or other than Foster, having a flat. By the way, these guys are kind of pushing the issue between each other. I feel like it's going to happen.
The big one or a flat? I can't wait for them to add more mechanical failures in the future.
Oh, that's going to be so awesome.
People are complaining, though, because it's going to ruin their I rating, but like that's what
racing, though.
is.
Yeah, you got to deal with that. I want this game to be as realistic as possible.
Right, if my car gets stuck in 4th gear and I drop a gear, it happens, you know?
Yup.
You just got to figure it out.
Exactly. And this will help improve people driving in their real-life careers, especially if the more accurate it is, and it'll let them climb the ladder. That's the most important part, is you want young kids like you that do race, you know, to be able to experience some of the, you know, more expensive cars or cars that are the next rung up before you even get into it. You know, that way you're better drivers overall, and the racing is better in general.
Yeah, I can tell you for a fact that some cars are definitely realistic and some are a little off, but like you're working with it, you know?
Exactly. And if they had one car that they were working on 24/7, I'd have something to gripe about, but these guys have, I believe, over 50 cars that you can choose from. It's either 40 or 50 cars you can choose from.
I think they're up to 60 now or 70, aren't they?
Yeah, that's let's just say it's 50 cars in total that you have to get as close as possible to realistic. That's a lot to update.
They try to add a certain amount every year.
Exactly. And here we go. White flag should be coming out. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. No yellow flags out tonight. Let's knock on wood, because it's the last lap, and I think Nick Nickerson has got a flat. Because you see how far he just dropped off?
I think he was just letting him go.
I don't think so. I think Nick's got a little flat.
It's too late anyway.
It is too late.
Let's go to his gyro here and see.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Across the line, it's going to be Nick Nickerson in first. Christopher Hamilton rolling around. Turn 3 into 4.
Oh.
Hamilton finishing in second, and third going to Carl Handwerk. What a run out tonight. Wow.
All right, man. That was a good race.
Yeah, that was intense. No breaks at all. No yellow flags. These guys put on a hell of a show. I'm super proud of them. That's tough, especially for short track.
And those cars.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, well, I got to get going here.
Well, thank you, Paul, for your help. I'll go ahead and take it from here, and I'll see you around.
Yep. See ya.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, Nick Nickerson, Christopher Hamilton, Carl Handwerk in our 1, 2, and 3. Willie Everham taking 4th. Kevin Foster in 5th. Eric Andrews in 6th. 7th, Dylan McDonald. 8th, Joshua Billiter. 9th, Wes Fuller. Matt Crockett in 10th. Andrew Gunther in 11th. And Dave Lauren 12th. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Goodies 125. And wow, what a race that was. Let's get these guys in the booth and talk to them about the race in general and how they felt it all went. Ladies and gentlemen, our third place finisher for tonight, the myth, the legend. Just kidding. The number 18, Carl Handwerk. I'm just kidding about the myth, the legend. No, but seriously, what a run, dude. That was insane.
Yeah. I mean, all I know is I held off Nick for the win. Oh no, that was for third. That was for me holding him off, not lapping me. Yeah. No, I mean he dominated this race, and I said to the guys before that it was probably going to be his race to lose. And yeah, when you go 125 caution free, I mean that's what's going to happen. I mean, no strategy. It's pretty much just take your pit stop and take your medicine and go from there. But
that was
insane.
It's
Martinsville. It's a rough track. I mean, it takes a certain type of individual to like Martinsville. I'm not one of them, so I'll gladly take a third.
Yeah, no, Martinsville's a slow. It's a tough track because you have those long straights and then you have slow corners, and it's a high and low the whole way through. It's a little bit like, I think it's Darlington. It's reminiscent of Darlington, but without maintaining speed.
I mean, listen, I've gone 55 through corners before, but that's like in the Miata. So
yeah, no, I was watching you guys. I'm like, man, they are slowing up around those corners. Like, it is so tough because it's a flat track. It's got a little bit of banking, but that's where Darlington's different. Darlington has the sharp bank on you. Martinsville doesn't have that. It's a very flat track when it comes to corners, and that lack of assistance around the corner for downforce is it's brutal. It gets you guys, but dude, you did a great job. You actually made some positions on that pit stop, which was great to see.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me. I mean, I knew I was probably going to come out behind Kevin because he pit early, and obviously the short pitting was just going to get ahead of me. But that's what also let me kind of run him down. But jumping ahead of Willie there, like I didn't think
that was going to happen either.
I think it was like one lap before he pit, so I didn't think it was going to be that much of a difference. But it seemed like I was way ahead of him, so I don't know if he just had a bad pit stop or what the case was, but it got me up there and gave me a shot at the podium, so I'll take it.
Yeah, no, that was a tough one for everyone, and I was really surprised about that. I saw you make your move up there, and I was like, whoa, he got it. Like, I wasn't expecting anyone other than Kevin Foster pitting early and making some changes because everyone kind of pitted roughly the same time. I wasn't expecting much of a shuffle, and that really threw a pretty big wrench into the mix. Now, how were your tires towards the end? Because I could tell you a couple people had flats. I'm almost 100% sure.
They actually felt better on that second run than they did the first run. The first run, they were garbage, and I think when I came in, surprisingly, my left front was the one that was the most worn, and that was at like 53%. But they're so hot and basically melted over that you have no grip whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it may not necessarily be a flat, and the flat is definitely possible here. So I'm not saying it's not, but it could just be that you just overdrive so much that the tires are just melted.
I definitely think that's what happened to some of the drivers. But dude, you survived Martinsville, top 3. That's something to be proud of in any situation.
I'm glad. I don't know. I don't say too much that I'm glad Nick won, but I'm glad he beat Chris because it would have been. It's bad enough that I'm going to hear from Chris that Chris beat Carl on an oval, but if it would have been for the win, we would have never heard the end of it.
I'm telling you, man, he's a ringer in there.
Hashtag not an oval guy, my ass.
Yeah, he's been playing you guys for a full year. He's like, I'll just play it easy the first year I race with them. The second year, I'll disappear for a little bit and I'll come back and I'll get him.
He told all of us he was in Japan on deployment and everything like that.
No.
He was probably practicing ovals the entire time. This son of a...
He took his racing wheel with him, and that's all he did.
A little racing sabbatical. All right. I see how it is.
And then another thing is actually Japan has got a couple oval tracks for short tracks. They
got twin ring Motegi over there too. So they got.
So they got some ovals. So he was definitely getting some time in that bet.
All right, I'm gonna have to have a word with him.
I think so. But man, great run out there. Good job.
Yep, I'll bang out the points here, and then once you're done with Nick, I'll let you know who advanced.
You got it. I'm going to put you back down in the waiting room, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second place finisher, the man that is not an oval guy, that seems to be finishing in the top 3, the number 64, Christopher Hamilton. Chris, you've been lying to us for a long time, and I think.
What do you mean, like I had like, I bought the track like 10 minutes after practice started, and I just kept cranking out laps, and I think it paid off.
I think so too. You've been doing so well out there, and it's been.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing to see you come back. I know from watching you race in dirt to getting into core and racing with these guys, it's pretty awesome to see your development out there. And I think you're becoming a very well-rounded racer and definitely a challenge for the top 6 almost every race. And that's great to see. I love seeing that.
Yeah, it's been definitely devoting more time like to oval. Been trying to do that, and also on the side, actually, like I still do a lot of road course racing in other leagues, and then I kind of took a break on the dirt stuff because
dirt's tough.
Reasons. But anyways, huge thank you to like you for letting me run the car. I'm probably gonna do a Christmas theme one just as a heads up.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I just gotta sit down and actually paint it. Shout out to all whoever's watching this. Thank you. I'm just taking everything that Carl and Nick and everyone else is like their little tips and tricks on ovals, and then usually like the first couple minutes I'm like trying to find who's the fast guy, and then like just get behind them and just do what I can. So.
Well, hey man, it's paying off for you. So I think you're doing a great job out there. Congratulations on the second, and I can't wait to see what you do next weekend.
Yeah, still looking for that oval win in core. I don't have it in core yet. I think all that's paying off. Another series, I did pretty decently well in that. So
I think either next season or towards the end of the season, I think you'll snag yourself an oval win with what you've been doing lately. It's gonna happen. It's there. It's ready.
All right. Well, there's decent amount left on the Premier Series and the Vintage, so it's not like I'm not gonna go for it. But Nick was a step ahead of everybody else. He did a fantastic job.
Definitely did, man. Well, congratulations again, and we'll see you next week.
All right, take it easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first place finisher for tonight, the number 85, Nick Nickerson. Nick, I'm a little speechless because that was a green flag run at Martinsville, and you also lapped the majority of the field.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah. If anybody wants to know the secret, it's all in the pedals. Braking. At a track like this, it's all in the braking zone.
Yeah, we were pointing that out with some of the other drivers that were still fast, but you could see their car lurch on a lot of those corners, and it's really, you had to be super smooth, and with a lot of these corners being really slow braking points, you had to be right on the edge of breaking loose, but at the same time stuck on the ground and rounding it, because like Carl said, taking a corner at 55 miles an hour, that's tough to do when you have a lot of torque behind those tires, and you want to get going right after that corner. So it's you really have to give and take with that braking gas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just like the modulation, like you kind of trail brake a little bit going into the center.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot more that you can do with like an $800 pedal set than you can do with like your G25 pedals.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a huge difference when it comes into that type of racing where braking is extremely important. Just getting that feedback.
I saw Andrew there. Like I think he had like maybe 2-3 laps newer tires, and he was holding like right behind me.
Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of unlocking some of these guys' potential.
I think a lot of the guys, even though they finished like Matt Crockett, Andrew Gunther, Wes Fuller, they finished, and even Dave Lohr down at the bottom section. A lot of these guys have also had a chance to run up in the top 6. So I think the field we have for the Vintage Series, a lot of these guys do have a chance to win. It's just opportunity and a little bit of luck, and timing. So it's, someone makes a mistake and they snag it away from you, and that could have happened to you. You're running your laps and you make a mistake trying to lap people. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's so easy to want to lap somebody, but sometimes you gotta just like stay behind them.
Yeah, you got to just let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're trying to lap
Yeah.
Carl for a second, weren't you?
I was for a little bit, and then I'm like, man, I got like 15 seconds on second place. Just hang back. If it closes down to like 5 seconds, then I'll push the issue. But
yeah,
I ain't about to, because I know he wasn't gonna want to let me pass.
Oh yeah, I was hoping some other people didn't let you pass. I was expecting them to fight you tooth and nail for that lap because I'm like, hey, it's not a yellow flag. Like there hasn't been a caution. If there's a caution, I'd let you go just because I know that happens, and then you'd be like, okay, a couple cautions will come out, we'll get it back. But when you're still green flagged, and it's lap 80, 90, I'm like, I wouldn't let him pass. Not today.
I wouldn't either.
But
Josh was blocking me too. It's good on him.
Yeah,
hold his position.
You gotta fight for it because you're gonna start losing them. But still, awesome run out there, man. Do you have anyone you want to thank?
Man, just everybody that helps put on this league. Man, I forget everybody that was involved. Eric, Carl, and I think Wesley was part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
We're closing in the season. I can't believe we're already like 4 races left in the season.
5.
Long schedule. 5.
I think we're 5 for this one and 4 for Premier.
4 Premier. Wow. Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting last couple rounds here, and appreciate you putting on the broadcast, man.
No problem.
Always love watching it.
That was a lot of fun to see you guys go green for the whole race. That's intense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've done that once before, but I can't remember when.
Well, we had a stretch of just green, yellow flag finishes. We go green and get a yellow flag at the very end.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I don't know. Either way, that's awesome, especially at Martinsville. It's like
that's tough.
Unknown.
Yeah. Well, man, once again, great job out there. Congratulations on the first, and let's see what you can do on Monday. Or I mean, Sunday.
Sunday, yep. All right, man. I'll catch you later.
You got it. See you around. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, I wanted to bring in Kevin Foster and talk to him. Kevin, did you blow a tire? I think it was like 10 laps to go.
No, I came in and took a couple tires there. I was the first one that rode it. It felt like I blew a tire.
Okay. Because it sounded like it. I saw you drop off by quite a bit. You were up in the running, and then I saw you drop off, and I was like, oh, no. And then I was kind of like paying attention, and I got into the cockpit to see if I could hear anything, and I could see your wheel shaking pretty heavily. And I heard a little bit of a rumble when you hit those corners, so I'm assuming you had a flat going on.
Yeah, I mean, I had no front tires, and I was locking the left front up, and then I tried to put rear brake into it, and then I slide the rear. And, I did learn a valuable lesson: don't take 2 tires. And, I did learn that, so at least I learned something today. But other than that, the 125 laps, caution free.
That's awesome.
And it's one of the first times I think we did it in the
vintage
series here, and
yes,
man,
sir.
that's awesome.
I think this is showing how much of a effort you guys have made to get better out here. We started off getting a couple cautions and it being a rough ride, and then a couple races being finishing under caution, but mostly a green flag run. And then I think the last 2 races we only had 1 or 2 cautions. And then this one being a green flag run. That's a testament to how good all you guys are becoming. And I know a lot of these guys want wins, but they have to realize it takes the whole field to race to produce such a race like this. Even the guys finishing in the last positions, they're doing a great job out there because they're able to keep it as clean as possible for everyone out there to keep racing. And that's something that, shout out to all those guys is it takes a whole field to race, not just the top 6 guys finishing. It takes the whole field to put on a show, and I really appreciate that. But
yes, it does. It takes everyone. We're a team. You have the best broadcaster on YouTube, and you have the best series in iRacing, the core racing series. So you put those 2 together, you get the best of both worlds, and best group of guys I've ever raced with, day in, day out. We're here with each other 5-6 hours a week, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I definitely agree with you with that, man. With that being said, Carl, what is the dealio on the points?
Oh, this is going to be a tough one for a couple guys, but top top 5, top 6 are pretty much they knew they were going to make it by where their finish was. So you got finished with the most points. You have myself, Nick, Willie, Kevin, Dylan, and Eric Andrews are your top 6. For the last 2 positions, there were 4 guys separated by 7 points.
Yes.
So with 1,437 points, Andrew Gunther will be 7th place. And then by 1 point, Wesley Fuller is the 8th place.
No way. Wow.
Over Josh Biller.
Wow.
So you had Andrew Gunther 1437, Wesley Fuller 1436, Josh Biller 1435, and then Matt Crockett 1431.
Man, Andrew took a huge hit on that one because he was sitting in 3rd. Wow.
Yes, he did. Yep.
That's crazy. Well, congratulations to everyone that made it. Wes Fuller, squeaked through, but there you go. Let's see what these guys can do next week in round 2 with race number 1 of the playoffs. And that's wow. That's a tough one. Good to see that.
Yeah, it can't get much closer than that. That's crazy.
I love when it's a close race like that. That's a blast. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're gonna say something?
Oh, none. I'll wait till afterwards.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight. And I know it was a little bit of a longer broadcast towards the end, but I just wanted to kind of get a little more information about the track and how these guys are racing, and also the points, so we know what's going into round 2. But wow, what a race, Martinsville. That's a tough one to pull off a green flag run, and these guys did it. So I, once again, super proud of it, and can't wait to see what these guys can do next week. With that being said, don't forget to tune in to DXR tomorrow night. We're going to be going to Virginia International Speedway, which is going to be a blast. This is a very not so round track. It's a very lumpy. Yeah, it's a lumpy potato.
Very 3D track.
Exactly. So these trucks are going to have a blast taking those corners, and it's going to be very tight. They're going to have to really try not to cut corners and not take time penalties. And then after that, we have the Irish and Short Course Series, which is always a blast to see 18 trucks racing into one corner and seeing who makes it out alive. It's sometimes a meat grinder, but sometimes we see some really great racing, evolve towards the end of that race. With that being said, I'll see you guys around, and I hope everyone has a great night. And let's kick the week off right. So with that being said, I hope I'll see you guys tomorrow.